Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
There's some of the weather that could play a factor today. Christina Pink, Miami Dolphins 8-3 again, but trying to avoid what we saw last December.
Well, yeah, who remembers Week 13 for the Dolphins last season? Mike McDaniel does that for sure. That was the start of a 5-game losing skid for the Dolphins late last season. So this week, he started game week by talking about that finish. He told us we used it, we learned from it, but that scar was real. And taking them back to that was purposeful. We're a different team now, and we're going to use it to our benefit.
Had to scrap and claw in the finale against the Jets to secure a playoff spot, which ended up being on the road. Mike McDaniel hoping for a home playoff game this time around. His offense going up against Ron Rivera's defense. Big task for Rivera in his first game since 2019 as defensive play caller back when he was with the Carolina Panthers. Miami won the toss and deferred. Jason Sanders booms it away. Byron Pringle says no thank you, and out to the 25-yard line will come this Washington offense led by Sam Howell. So we know they pass a lot, one of the highest passing rates in the league, but they've been running the football a little bit better too, and they're trying to get everybody involved. Curtis Samuel's coming off his best game last week.
Yeah, he's a guy that you've got to watch coming out of the backfield. Anytime he's in there, they want to target him. Also, that matchup, get Curtis Samuel on the linebacker, see if you can take advantage of that as well today.
He's in the slot to the left to start the day. Brian Robinson is the back next to Howell. Speaking of running the ball, it is Robinson. We'll churn ahead for a couple. Sam Howell, a 300-yard passing game in a tough Thanksgiving loss to the Cowboys. You see the tops in passing yards, but tops in interceptions, tops in sacks, and obviously those two are kind of married together.
Yeah, that's one of the things. They have to stay on schedule. They have to have success on first and second down, keep themselves out of those long passing, those known situations today if they're going to have some success on this offense.
Howell's first toss is low with Jahan Dotson, the intended target. You see Sam rubbing his hands together. Miami defensively, they've got an excellent pass rush, so we'll see how that matches up against the Washington offensive line today. I know they haven't played a juggernaut schedule the last month, but their defense has gotten a lot better since Jalen Ramsey came back.
They certainly have. Jalen Ramsey's a big difference maker. He is that guy. He gives you a lot of confidence and flexibility. You can man him up, zone the rest of the football field. He's going to be just one of those guys that's a difference maker out there on the edge.
3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Deep drop for Howell. Has to step away. On the move, past the sticks. Jahan Dotson held on. It is a first down past the 35-yard line to the 38. On 3rd and 8, they move the chains.
Well, look at this. I mean, not only the throw, but look at the footwork on the sideline right there. I think he stayed in bounds. I mean, it looked like it. Really nice job.
Well, let's see here, because we get Washington running up to the line trying to run a play. Mike McDaniel may have considered an early challenge.
Yeah, I think he did challenge. I see the ref with that red flag in his hand.
It was an 11-yard gain on a very tight to the sideline throw. And if Dotson was out of bounds at any point and then came back in.
You see that right knee on the ground. See it from this angle.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. Timeout.
So far, nothing we've seen.
Going to have to be clear and obvious to overturn the Mike McDaniel challenge. Just over a minute in, already a crucial 3rd down play. Trey Blake has the official ruling.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Miami starts their first timeout and their first down goes down. Please reset the game clock for 25 seconds. Thank you.
Very difficult to tell and very difficult to overturn on the sideline, so call on the field will stand. It is a 12-yard gain on 3rd and 8 to Jahan Dotson to move the chains.
So important, too, for this offense, right? To keep that, not only keep your momentum going, to convert on a 3rd down, but to keep Miami's offense stand on the sideline, because that's one of the ways you play this Miami Dolphins football team. You make sure you limit their offensive possessions because they are so dynamic on that side of the ball.
Curtis Samuel is in the backfield. He's only run the ball 4 times this year, but they like to work him out of the backfield like that. Little Texas route. You go outside the line and then come back to the middle. He makes the catch at the 44 for 5 yards.
Yeah, you get in one of those 3-by-1 formations. You put him in the backfield, and the odds are you're going to get a matchup on a middle linebacker, and they love that matchup for Curtis Samuel. He's so good at doing some of that kind of offbeat stuff, the jet sweeps, get him out of the backfield, create some of those one-on-one matchups. Really nice play design and a nice thought by Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator.
And off to Antonio Gibson with a nice jump cut for a first down into Miami territory. Washington has run for 100+ yards in 3 of its last 4 games.
Yeah, and I love this right here. Coming off that double team. Watch this as you work up to the linebacker here. You've got to have that sense of timing. Then Paul, boom, right off of there. And Antonio Gibson gets that nice cutback off that double team block by Chris Paul and Charles Leno. Just a really nice combination there.
Different guys touching the ball early for Washington. That's been typical of their team this year. Back to Gibson. And a good job penetrating by Zach Sealer for Miami up front. And then Kader Kohou coming up from the slot corner spot as well.
That's the guy that's really jumped off of film for me. Kohou, as you just mentioned, there in that nickel position, coming off, creating pressure off the edge, getting in the backfield and getting on that tackle. One thing about this Miami Dolphins team on tape is they are exceptional tacklers. They really don't give you those second and third opportunities, and that's a Vic Fangio staple. We tackle well, we make you matriculate down the football field 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 plays. We're going to end up more often than not stopping you and making you kick field goals.
Powell under pressure and got rid of it past the line, but that's a nice job by Brandon Jones stopping Samuel. Jones is in there for the injured Javon Holland, who's dealing with that knee issue. Remember, he had the 99-yard pick 6 last week against the Jets. You see the extension by Bradley Chubb. Nearly got a piece of that ball. Gain of just 2 on the play, and there's Vic Fangio right in the thick of things, a 65-year-old in his first year as defensive coordinator for Miami.
Well, we talked about that ability to tackle, a little man-to-man right there with Brandon Jones. Just really nice job driving on that, making that short tackle improvement 3rd down and long.
Miami loading the line here. Oh, look at Miami showing pressure, bringing some. How under pressure, could not connect with John Bates. So again, what you talked about with Miami, we're going to make you kind of march downfield, and then in the big spots, 3rd and long, bring the pressure.
Right, and you can see it all the way across here. Everybody up on that line of scrimmage, which creates a situation on 3rd down and long where you know somebody's not going to be unblocked, so you got to get the ball out. And if you're a good tackling team, you're going to have to throw it short of the sticks, rally up, make a tackle. That was incompletion, but make a tackle and get off the football field.
Cressway will punt it away. Braxton Berrios is back to return. Fair catch. Just a 31-yard kick to pin Miami inside its own 15-yard line. So here comes Tua Tagovailoa. 4th-year man out of Alabama, the 1st-round pick, leads this. First Miami drive will start at the 14-yard line with their 8th different offensive line combo of the season. Liam Eichenberg makes his first start at left guard. Robert Hunt is back at right guard. You better find number 10, Tyreek Hill, the #1 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, how do you deal with him? So fast, so dynamic. One of the things, you just pray that he drops the ball. That's about the chance you got.
The left-handed Tua Tagovailoa was looking downfield. Instead, he'll check it down for Jalen Waddle, and he'll pick up 5 yards on the play. Tua Tagovailoa, 21 of 30 last week. The numbers were okay, but he threw 2 picks, including a pick 6. Lost a fumble. You see the interception numbers are career highs. He's got to hold on to the football and take care of it a little bit better. Other than that, he's been really solid.
Yeah, and he's been so good at hitting guys on stride, in windows. It's just been so impressive to watch as he continues to send up that kind of quarterback hierarchy in this league. He's really done a tremendous job.
There is Raheem Mostert, one of the speedsters on this Miami offense. That's what Washington has to contend with. Cody Barton is there to make the tackle. Obviously, this is a Washington defense that has seen a lot of changes up front. But Cody Barton today is even more important because of what Tua is looking for in those first windows.
Yes, he really is. All that underneath coverage from Cody Barton to Jamin Davis to the nickel guys about getting depth in the passing game and trying to take away some of those windows. Kind of play it from high to low as opposed from low to high. So depth, get off the ball, see if you can take some of those windows away.
Running back against a linebacker, Achane against Davis, top of the formation. Tua. Lofts it. Tyreek Hill on cue. You're not going to catch him, are you?
No.
Touchdown. Explosive Miami play for 78 and a score. It's a roller coaster ride for defenses when you got to take on Tyreek Hill and company. 6-0 out of the gate.
And formationally, you line up right here in the slot, but you know you're man-to-man because Jamin Davis followed the running back out there, so you're going to get that opportunity. And anytime you've got an opportunity, where you going? Number 10, right? So dynamic. He's uncoverable. So much speed and big-time TD over the top. Explosive play.
Jason Sanders, 7-0. The leading receiver in the NFL, who is seeking the first 2,000-yard season in the history of the league. Miami's longest play of the season. The reward, roller coaster ride.
Well, you mentioned it, Adam. Man-to-man down here with the linebacker. You've got that single high safety, which means what? We're going to have man-to-man out here, and you take advantage of that 100% of the time. Tua just looks right to it. Goes over the top to Tyreek, and he's got clearance by about 6 yards. Ain't nobody catching this dude in the open field.
Last week was Miami's longest touchdown of the year. It came from their defense, the 99-yard pick six. That was their longest offensive touchdown of the year at 78 yards. And it's still not the longest of Tyreek Hill's career. He had a 79-yarder 6 years ago as a member of the Chiefs. Out to the 25 will come Washington after the touchback. Not too late to play today's Fox Super 6 free-to-play game. You can download the Fox Sports app right now. Enter for free for a chance to win your share of $10,000 in weekly cash prizes.
Adam, such an important drive coming out right now. You cannot, if you're Eric Bieniemy and Washington, you cannot try to play in a shootout. You have to adhere to your game plan. You've got to possess the ball. You've got to continue to run the ball. You can't get caught up in, hey, we're going to match you 78-yarder for 78-yarder. That's not going to work.
Pressure coming late from the left. Almost got to Howell. It's a good effort by David Long Jr. who brought that late pressure, and Howell turns it into a solid run. Could have been a negative play. Instead, he turns it into a positive.
Well, you're just going to come out here from this edge out here, and you're going to get two guys off that edge, drop guys from the other side, and that's one thing Miami does a great job of. They play that front where they'll rush three guys, bring somebody from that secondary, bring somebody from that linebacking core, and then have the athleticism on the edge on the other side with a Van Ginkel to go out there in coverage. So it's a nice mix and match for this Miami Dolphins defense.
Fake to Robinson. Smooth throw. Wow, that was nearly a fabulous Logan Thomas one-hander, but it's incomplete. He had Kader Kohu, the nickel corner, in coverage, and another 3rd and long coming for Washington.
Yeah, and exactly kind of what you worry about, right? Getting away from that run game, getting away from changing those long angles, those play action passes right there, and putting yourself back into a 3rd and long. And if you don't convert here, what do? You put Miami's offense right back on the football field.
Washington is around league average in converting 3rd downs, right around 38-39%. Just a 4-man rush. Van Ginkel with a beautiful spin move to get away from Andrew Wiley. He's in there for the injured Jalen Phillips, and he steps up right out of the gate. His first sack in over 2 months on a beautiful spin.
Well, I love the timing of this spin. Watch him as he gets to the depth of the quarterback right here. Bam, he feels it, spins right back inside, understanding that Howell's going to step up in the pocket. So as soon as he gets to that depth, now spin. Get back in there. Know that that quarterback is planning to step up in the pocket, and you're right there face to face with him. Beautiful move by Van Ginkel.
But Jalen Phillips got hurt on that MetLife turf last week. That was a big loss for Miami, but they've got some depth. Now Braxton Berrios, after a 50-plus yard punt, gets swallowed up quickly by De'Ami Brown. Just a 2-yard return. Miami defense has been playing better over the last month. They get the stop, and they get the ball right back to their offense. On the first drive, and could this be a big play Sunday? Only the Lions have had more 20-plus yard plays this year. Nobody's given up more than Washington's defense.
Yeah, and it is part of this offense. We talk about the speed, athleticism, and moments ago you saw it firsthand. You get into man-to-man, you better hold your breath and hope that you can make sure you keep that over the top. Quan Martin there getting beat on that touchdown by Tyreek Hill.
Tua fakes it, gets hit, tries to deliver to Hill, who slips on that turf. Khaleke Hudson got into Tua Tagovailoa fairly quickly to force the errant throw, and Hill's limping.
Yeah, kind of twisted up on that a little bit. See that pump fake right there?
Foot kind of got stuck for Tyreek Hill there as he came out of the backfield that time.
Initially had him open right off the bat. It's just Khaleke Hudson getting in that window a little bit, making him hold that ball, and
Tyreek comes off the field. Jeff Wilson is the back. Achane is in there as well. He's in motion and gets the little toss, little flip to Achane. So Devon Achane's going to set up third down. The rookie out of Texas A&M has not played in 5 of the last 6 games. Came back from a knee injury a few weeks ago against Las Vegas, but only played a few snaps and then re-aggravated that knee issue. It's Percy Butler who is slow to get up for Washington's back end, which has had to fill some gaps with Derek Forrest and Emmanuel Forbes out.
Well, we talked about it in the open. You know, their ability to get to the edge, to capture the edge of a football field with their speed and athleticism. But you saw it right there, how many different ways you can swing it out to a receiver like they did early in this game, to Waddle. You can flip that little jet sweep to one of your running backs. Achane did that situation. Just get out there, get on the edge where there's space, and try to make the defense get you in the open field, make a tackle. And it's really hard against these guys.
Hill was back in. Achane, Waddle, and Hill all on the same side. That's where Tua's looking. Tua's throwing, and Jalen Waddle's catching it in Washington territory. On 3rd and 4, they pick up 16. Terrell Burgess on the tackle.
Well, how can you affect the layered windows? And the way you do it is you create this Achane going down the middle right here, hold that underneath coverage, and then that window opens up. You see it right there to Waddle. So, hey, take one guy, affect the coverage, make sure that you get him, throw it behind, throw it to a different window. Replace one dude, have another guy coming in there. That's Miami's offense.
Toss play for Mostert. Beats Hudson to the edge, slips a tackle, first down. Down to the 37-yard line. Picking up 12. Raheem Mostert, their leading rusher, who leads the NFL with 13 rushing touchdowns this year. It's not just the pass game, which is #1 in the NFL. They have the 2nd-ranked rushing attack behind Baltimore.
Well, there's just one more play outside the numbers. Pull your tackle, secure the edge, have Wilson out there, the receiver, throwing a block on the corner, capture that corner, and let Mostert go to work.
Same play. That time it's read well by Jamin Davis. 2nd leading tackler for this crew for a loss of 3 yards. So that puts Miami behind the chains.
Well, Jamin coming off the edge right here. You can see him and watch him defeat the block. And then Ingold, the fullback, they get a little crossed up there, and Jamin being able to slip through there. But really nice getting outside, creating that, and defeat the block of a wide receiver on you. Anytime a wide receiver is going to come down and crack on you, try to maintain the edge, create the edge, you've got to be able to beat that if you're a defender.
Alec Ingold in motion. Up and downfield for Tua, so he finds Ingold. Jamin Davis is ready for him, and another tackle for loss for the Washington linebacker. 3rd and long coming up for Miami.
Yeah, and they're creating that kind of that umbrella right now. Drop that underneath coverage out. Everybody disperse, get into those windows, and then rally up and make a tackle. And there you see it. Really nice effort by this group. And You can see the adjustment by Rivera. Hey, man, I'm not going to get into these man-to-man situations. I am going to go ahead and play some zone and make sure that we take away that easy, quick throw that Mike McDaniel wants to get to so often.
Tagovailoa finds Waddle. A lot of ground to cover, and Jalen Waddle will run into a few commanders on defense, about 5 yards short of the line to gain. Cam Curl was able to knock Waddle down. 4th down coming.
Well, you got Davis on Waddle right here, and you're just trying to essentially take away that free release, right? So he can't get up on top of people. Just aggravate that a little bit, slow down the rhythm of that offense, make Tua throw it underneath, and rally up and try to make a tackle.
Well, this is what you have to do as a defense. You got to force field goal tries. Got to force kicks. So Blake Ferguson will snap to Jake Bailey, and Jason Sanders has only attempted 14 field goals all year. He's made 11. He'll kick this one and just sneak it through. 49-yarder inside the left upright for Sanders, and a couple of scores to start the day for the Dolphins. 10-0. And a field goal from Jason Sanders, so Sam Howell and company in a 10-0 hole. Tua Tagovailoa off to a 6-for-7 start with that touchdown on the first drive. He works with Skylar Thompson. First trip since 2015 to Landover for Miami. Byron Pringle back to return to Sanders at 10. And another boomer out to the 25. Well, this week, NFL players are wearing customized cleats in honor of the causes they support through My Cause, My Cleats. You can visit NFL.com/MyCauseMyCleats to hear player stories, bid on those custom cleats for charity, and you can learn more about how they're making a difference in their communities. Jamaris Crowder is the younger brother of Jamison Crowder, who has been supporting him from his time at Duke all the way to his several years in the NFL now. He's dealing with Down syndrome, non-verbal, but Jamison's always on the phone, on FaceTime with his younger brother, saying hello, and gets to hear his voice every day. Great stuff, great causes throughout the NFL this year. Here's Brian Robinson. Churning run for about 4 yards, and we've got Carissa Thompson with the game break. What's up, CT?
Thanks so much, Adam. Well, the Lions were off to a great start already, up 14-0, and then Jared Goff is going to hit Amon-Ra St. Brown over the middle. No one touches him on his way to a 25-yard score. Detroit is up 21-0, still in the first quarter. Adam?
Lions and Dolphins, both 8-3, both tops in the NFL in explosive plays, and both teams have one already today. Robinson again. Bouncing. And it's going to set up a 3rd and 3 here. So this is what you're looking for for Eric Bieniemy, right? Not getting away from the run game.
Sure, those things are not pretty, right? Those 4-yard kind of just churning yardage, those are commitment runs. I have to be committed to doing this because what it helps you right now is it keeps you in a situation where, hey, we could throw it, we could run it again, and oh, by the way, if we do throw it, going to slow your pass rush down just a little bit. So these are the things to me that are an important part of this offense and taking pressure off a young quarterback in Howell.
Another 4-man rush. Howell got hit, and that kind of messed up the throwing timing. So Zach Sealer wrapped around the legs of Howell, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, just inside pressure. This whole defensive line coming off the ball, and you can see this when you have that kind of traffic, when you have that kind of push in the pocket, so hard to keep your eyes downfield because you've got to make those moves inside. You got to get out there, and again, we've talked about this. How many quick designs, how many quick throws can you get the ball out of your quarterback's hand from a design standpoint?
Braxton Berrios, fair catch, 49-yarder. 2:12 left, first quarter. Dolphins have the lead in the ball, and we're back after this from State Farm.
Coach, Jake from State Farm.
Well, Patrick, it's official.
You saved with home and auto insurance. You're the league's most valuable bundler.
MVB? Me?
He's surprised.
Man, I just did not see this coming. This is truly unexpected.
I'm gonna start locking this place up. Hey, you done?
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Now back-to-back 3-and-out drives from the Washington offense. And Miami gets the ball right back. Long touchdown to Hill. And a field goal for Sanders. Devon Achane in motion again. Matched up with Fuller in the corner. Nothing downfield. Good coverage by Washington. Tua looking for a window, and Jalen Waddle did all the right things except hold on to the football. Came back to a spot open in the middle to try to give his quarterback an easy throw, but a drop.
Well, he just working back to the quarterback. Anytime right here you go deep, when the quarterback gets in trouble, the quarterback starts moving around, what do they coach you to do? You're deep, come back to the quarterback. Make it a shorter route. Come back, find him. Like you said, did everything right except catch the football right there.
Well, college teammates at Alabama unable to connect, and Jalen Waddle knew it. Oh, Achane, he gets blown up. Excellent job by K.J. Henry. One of these rookie edge guys who's got to step up with Montez Sweat and Chase Young gone.
Well, you felt it, and he's going to come right here. So you're looking for this block coming down here. Can I defeat the block of the wide receiver? That's Craycraft. He does it, gets up underneath, and you could feel it. Your eyeball on that tackle, you feel him. Hey, he's going to push. They're trying to crack on me. I'm going to defeat the crack block, get up the field, and stop that running back. Really, really outstanding play.
Another 3rd and long. Tried to throw the screen for Hill. Tyreek Hill bouncing around, nowhere to go, down at the 6. Deron Payne, part of the crew. See this penalty flag, though, on the near side around the 17.
I think they're going to get him for an illegal block downfield here, Adam. Screen took a little bit longer to develop. Could be an offensive lineman downfield.
Both by the offense. Pass interference, offense, number 0. Illegal man downfield, offense, number 74. Those penalties are both declined. Result of play, 4th down.
So you got Berrios and Eichenberg on the penalties. You'll decline both and take it 4th down.
Yeah, I'm going to say stink 2. Miami 0. I think I got both of those. So.
Hey,
anytime,
right.
Thank you, buddy. anytime there's hesitation and that play gets blown up a little bit, those things are going to happen to you because you have the timing of that screen, and you miss the timing of it, you're going to get penalized.
Jake Bailey in the shadow of the goalpost. Shorter punt. Flag is thrown on the far side of the field. Washington, depending on the penalty, should have great field position. It's a 46-yard punt, not league average.
Security kick, holding, receiving team, number 2. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, 1st down.
That's tough for De'Ami Brown, so instead of being near midfield, they'll be back behind their own 40. Don't miss the Masked Singer Rock Night this Wednesday. 3 killer performances and 2 stellar unmaskings. See which celebrity makes it to the finale. The Masked Singer, all new Wednesday at 8 Eastern on Fox. Fired their defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio. Plenty of Miami fans have made the trip up to Landover. Sam Howell and company from their own 38-yard line. First 3 Washington drives started inside their own 25. Chris Rodriguez, the rookie, is lined up wide. The rookie out of Kentucky, their 3rd running back. Oh, he threw it right to Van Ginkel. Goodbye. Another defensive touchdown for the Dolphins. Back-to-back weeks. Andrew Van Ginkel has put his stamp on the first quarter. A sack and now a score.
Yeah, coming off the edge right here, and watch him feel the set. It's not real. I could feel what you're doing right there, so I quit my pass rush and just jumped into coverage right there by Van Ginkel. Watch him just come off of that. He could feel Wiley going to release down the football field to go get a block, and he says, hey, man, I'm not going to pass rush anymore. I've got that sense. I've studied the film. Bam! Go out there, grab yourself an interception for a touchdown.
I remember covering Andrew Van Ginkel when he was a freshman at Boyden Hall, Rock Valley, which are two schools that have to combine in the state of Iowa to be able to play 11-man football. He was a high school quarterback, moved to defensive end at South Dakota, then to Iowa Western Community College before moving to linebacker at Wisconsin. He has a bigger role with Jalen Phillips injured, and he's played great in this first quarter.
But that is the intelligence of a player, right? Understanding exactly what they're trying to do to you, having that feel for the game, and then Van Ginkel, boom, getting off his pass rush to intercept that ball.
Miami dominating this first quarter against a sub-500 team, and that's kind of been the theme for Mike McDaniel, right? So please just enjoy this. You saw the Broncos now 6-5. Losses on the road to Buffalo and Philadelphia, and then to Kansas City out in Frankfurt, Germany. But they've beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat. The Denver win, where they put up 70 points. The Broncos are 6-5 now. That's the only team currently that has a winning record that the Dolphins have beat. So they've won the games they're supposed to win. Their schedule is going to get tough late, but they're trying to put it on the teams that you expect them to put it on against. And so far, it's been all Miami and Mike McDaniel's crew.
I just like the way after he stumbles, he looks back at
like,
the stumbling block. Like, what was that right there?
It's fine.
So much fun to talk to the other night. That guy has earned his way here. Earned it.
Look at Eric Bieniemy, though. Getting after Sam Howell, getting after the offense. Lock in, let's go.
Yeah, just encouraging this offense. Hey, man, we got to put a drive together. We've got to possess this football, get us in deep into the second quarter, and get a touchdown scoring drive.
That's the fourth pick six for Sam Howell this year to lead the NFL. Now Brian Robinson, a good first down run as he works for 8 yards into Brandon Jones.
That's what you have to do. Nice little zone, wide zone to the right, little cutback off the tight end, sift on the backside, and those are the things that you've got to get going. And those things help you defend this pass rush unit, which has been so good, right? Get guys on the ground. Bradley Chubb on the ground on that particular one with the tight end cut by Bates. Those things are important, and they add up on slowing down this Miami Dolphins defense.
Back to Robinson and a first down. Eric Bieniemy sticking with the run game. That'll take us to the end of the first 15, and the Dolphins, who come in at number 2 in the NFL, averaging 31 points a game, have already put up 17 on Washington in the first quarter. Ironically enough, Miami had been outscored in the first quarter this season overall, 69-58, but a 17-0 start to the day for the crew from South Beach. A 2 live crew, perhaps. Start of the second quarter at FedEx Field. Washington gets a first down after a couple of runs that you really liked from Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I like how they play off of one another. One was a wide zone with a little cutback. The next one was counter off that same kind of double team look to the right-hand side. So you're really playing off that kind of zone and then mixing it with a gap kind of run. So really nice mixture of runs here on that particular first down for Washington, and they've got to keep that alive.
It's a big drive already, it feels like, for the Commanders' offense. Howell is wrapped up, down he goes, another sack. This one belongs to Emmanuel Ogbah. So Van Ginkel and Ogbah were the two guys that had to elevate with Phillips down. Now they're playing well with 2 sacks.
Getting a one-on-one on Wiley right here, and as soon as he gets up, again, inside, you remember Van Ginkel spun inside. That time Ogbah just powers back inside when he gets to the depth of the quarterback, understanding the likelihood of Sam Howell climbing that pocket, and so he gets to that depth and then changes that pass rush angle.
Back-to-back weeks for Ogba with a sack now. Back to the ground game on 2nd and long, and Robinson gets the edge and slips through to get the first down into Dolphin territory down inside the 40-yard line. It's a nice run by Robinson as he picks up 28 yards.
And I love, just watch Robinson, watch his little jab step. Once he gets the outside, jab right there, hold that defense for a split second, and then bounce to the outside and finish it with power. One of the issues that Washington has had is they have been so limited from the standpoint of number of rush plays that they've gotten, is that you're trying to break every single one, not understanding the value of those 4-yard runs. Now we're starting to get a sense of it.
Especially over these last handful of games, over the last month, they're getting him more involved. Now it's Gibson. For that 28-yarder from Robinson, that's the 2nd longest run of his career. It's one of the best runs of the season for Washington, in fact.
Yeah, and attack that edge. Attack those guys that are giving you trouble in the pass rush game. You know, those outside players like Van Ginkel and Ogba. Go and make them defend the run. Go and attack them in that wide zone scheme, that wide pitch scheme, and see if you can tire those dudes out a little bit to make them, you know, less of a pass rushing threat because they've defended the run so much.
47 yards on the ground already on this drive for the Commanders' offense. Bringing pressure, Dolphins. Howell hit as he delivers deep. Incomplete. A race back for Xavier Howard as Sam Howell got hit hard trying to find Terry McLaurin.
Well, you're going to get, I mean, you're going to get bringing the house right now. Everybody from these linebacker positions, inside, outside, long right there, getting to the quarterback. And one thing we've seen Miami do several times, when we get to this area of the football field and we get to these 3rd downs, bring pressure, 2nd down and long, bring pressure and make the quarterback throw it before he's ready.
2nd target for McLaurin. Still looking for that first catch. Howell floats it deep. Got a man. It's caught. It's Samuel. It is out of bounds at the 1. And Jerome Baker got caught up in coverage, the linebacker with Samuel, and he's down after the play. A 33-yard gain.
Well, Baker got taken out by his own man. You hear Samuel right here, and he's going to be the guy out of the backfield. Little stutter right there. You know, the old wheel route. Get him down, and you see Xavier Howard come sliding across there. Or is that Jones come sliding across there as he's trying to make that play, Brandon Jones, and take out the leg of Baker. It's just
Yeah, Jones trying to make a play to prevent the touchdown, but Baker, the linebacker, was caught in the middle of all of it. Samuel, a big gain to set up 1st and goal.
Just tell Siri, show me the football standings.
Curtis Samuel coming off his best game of the year, a 100-yard effort against Dallas. Gets to the 1-yard line. Jerome Baker got taken out by Brandon Jones, his own teammate. He's trying to save the touchdown. You see Jones fly in. Watch Samuel's right foot as well, out right there at the 1. And Baker got the worst of it. So their inside linebacker is out. Duke Riley will check into the game for Miami. There's 45 right there. Excellent special teamer. It's 1st and goal. Big opportunity for Washington to get back in this game. They've got 4 cracks at the end zone here. It's Robinson in the backfield. And it's Robinson. Good job by Sealer, who originally made some contact, and then Duke Riley comes in and finishes off the place fresh off the bench.
Oh, I tell you what, you know, the old bear crawl. Like, watch Sealer right down here. He's just bear crawling. He's getting in there, creating a new line of scrimmage, and that allows the cavalry to come over there and make a tackle. But I love it. I love it. Hey, you know what? You had one run there. Let's do another. Let's do another. Let's do another.
This is
you're going to wear,
territory.
yeah, you're going to wear a defense down on top of it. So, I mean, I would have 4 straight runs here if I was Washington.
It's a quick throw trying to get to the goal line. It's a touchdown. De'Ami Brown, Sam Howell's old college teammate from North Carolina, has his second touchdown of the season. A big one for Washington.
Man, there was a juggle on that, too. He goes into motion right here, down this way, and watch little juggle. Watch it. Bam, readjusts on the ball. Able to catch that before he goes over. Right, I can readjust. Then he gets down, and before he gets touched, that ball crosses that white end zone line for the touchdown.
You have John Bates. Every scoring play is reviewed. They'll take a look at that juggle. You have John Bates and Chris Rodriguez, the running back, lined up outside, both blocking on the interior. You can do that inside of a yard of the line of scrimmage. That opened things up for a potential Brown touchdown pending this review. Take a look. Play replay official at home. Looks to be a score.
And by Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Trey Blake will have the call for us. We may actually see this overturned to be 3rd and goal.
After review, the runner was down inside the 1 yard line. It will be 3rd and goal. Please set the game clock for 11:33. Thank you.
So watch 43. Andrew Van Ginkel, who's already made an impact in this first half. Watch, he does make contact right there.
Yes, and you can see the knee is down, and there's the contact with the hand before the ball crosses into the end zone. Great call, great review by the officiating crew.
Great job by our crew to show that to you. The benefit of the slow motion replay gets to see it. All right, 3rd and goal, half-yard line. It's Sam Howell getting a little push. Who knows if this play will be around come next season in the NFL, but while it's available to you, why not try it? Trey Blake trying to sort it all out, and you get a touchdown ruling for Sam Howell.
When in doubt, go with the quarterback sneak. Get everybody in here, wedge right here in the middle. Have your back come help you out. Great job right there by Robinson, shoving Sam Howell into that end zone. Not quite sure why it took that long to call a touchdown. Guess they had to unpile all those bodies on top of Howell.
That's a rushing touchdown in 3 straight games now for Sam Howell. That's a huge drive, which featured a couple of explosive plays as well for Washington to get on the board.
And ate up some clock. They got that drive started, what, 55 seconds left, I believe, in the first quarter. So ate up some drive, kept Miami's offense that's been so explosive on the sideline. That's exactly what Eric Bieniemy, Ron Rivera needed from this Washington offense.
Almost a 5-minute drive. We'll check the flag on that kick. Could be offsides. Looked like maybe Justin Bethel was in the neutral zone. Can add the penalty on the kickoff if they want. That's what Trey Blake is asking Ron Rivera right now.
Offsides, defense, number 20. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And remember, Mike McDaniel talked to us about the potential explosiveness of the Washington offense as well. They had a couple of good plays, including the big Samuel catch.
Yeah, no question about it. And there it is, little, get on the edge, little double move down the sideline. And we talked about Samuel in this game. Anytime you get that dude out of the backfield, he's a threat. And then finish that off with that quarterback sneak right there. Get everybody shoving Sam Howell in there. And Eric Bieniemy right there, you see it. 10 plays, 75 yards, almost 5 minutes time of possession. Exactly what Washington needed to get themselves right back in this thing. And there was no panic. I love that about Bieniemy. We saw him firing him up before that drive started. There was no panic. It was a sense of, hey guys, there's urgency here, but there's not panic here. Let's go and execute and get this thing into the end zone.
Out to the 25 comes Miami. They had the 78-yard touchdown to Hill on the opening drive. And since then, Washington's defense kind of settled in, made the adjustment. Ron Rivera, you talked about it, kind of back off, play a little bit more coverage, and attack the interior. They've had some negative yardage plays now generated by Davis and company.
They've done a good job, especially resetting and reestablishing the edge on those wide plays by Miami, really taking them out of that kind of edge presence that they have on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, crack toss. This is a staple in the Miami offense. Raheem Mostert turns it into a gain of 6 to start this drive. They love that toss play that can go outside or go to the interior. You have to be so sharp in your run fits if you're a defense.
Well, one of the things they try to do is they try to get everybody on the defense running out there, and then they want to kick this thing back. You see, get everybody involved out there outside the numbers and then come back inside for Mostert, so it really becomes more of a downhill run.
A little trickery now. They go with the end around with Tyreek Hill getting the first down. Running into
poor Cam Curl.
Payne.
I mean, that is going to be one of the most frightening things you could have as a defensive player. Here's Cam Curl right here on the edge, one-on-one with the outside on the little flip to Tyreek Hill. You're like, oh no. Oh my goodness. Hey, my advice is stay outside in and let all the reinforcements come from the inside to help you out. Easy to say, hard to do.
Absolutely. Could talk all we want about it. Off the play action, looking for Waddle in double coverage, and it's incomplete. Both Benjamin St-Juste outside corner, and then the safety help from Cam Curl in coverage on the deep ball.
Man, how about that? Just umbrella back here on the back edge. Everybody is back there, and here goes Waddle just taking off. And look at Curl, St-Juste. They're all just trying to run. Really nice job of staying deep, playing that ball from, you know, the deep side, making sure nobody gets over the top of you, and that's exactly what you have to do when you play this dynamic receiving corps.
Give it to Achane. He slips one tackle, and he turns it into a positive play. Quan Martin, the rookie, missed one in the backfield. Ends up being a gain of 3. Remember that Martin, the rookie out of Illinois, their second-round pick is in there at slot corner. Emmanuel Forbes continues to deal with the elbow injury. Martin got his first NFL start last week. You saw him kind of clap his hands in frustration there because he knew he missed an opportunity for a tackle for loss.
But the big news is as soon as he saw that pitch to the outside, how he closed that and reestablished a new edge for this defense from the nickel spot. So really nice job.
Here comes a blitz from Washington. Trying to get to Tua. One-on-one. Hill. He found it. He's gone. Another long touchdown for Tyreek. This one for 60 yards. And he beat his former Kansas City Super Bowl winning teammate, Kendall Fuller.
And I tell you what, you're looking at a edge presence, blitz off the edge, and then watch this. Tua just sees it one-on-one. I'm just going to loft it up there, let my guy make an adjustment, and that is so tough. Tyreek Hill out there making the adjustment to the football. Look at, gets on top of the DBs right off the bat, and then just find the ball in the air, track it, adjust to it, touchdown, Miami.
And Tyreek Hill leading the NFL with his 8th 100-yard game. He has tied the Miami Dolphin record held by Mark Duper back in 1986. That's a 36-year-old record.
The 5G network of the NFL.
Already a couple of long ones to Tyreek Hill. A 78-yarder on the opening drive. No one's going to catch him. And then on another third down with pressure coming, another one-on-one chance, beating Kendall Fuller for 60 and 6 more points. Mike McDaniel, he loves it.
What a security blanket when you can have that kind of pressure and you can just throw one deep, bring rain, and let your wide receiver adjust to it.
The ultimate, well, Tyreek's out there somewhere throw. Christina Pink is out there somewhere. What do you got, KP?
Well, Adam, you said he's one-on-one. Well, Tua Tagovailoa told us he's one of one, generational talent, but something's different about him this year. Talking to Hill in warm-ups, these guys had a long conversation before that drive started, and that is the difference. He said, we've grown off the field, we're closer. He calls me out during the game, I call him out, and that has led to more on-field chemistry.
You can just see it the way that he, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle all kind of interact. We got a chance to witness that when we went in for meetings yesterday. Sam Howell will slide down to start this drive on a gain of about 4. And you can sense the chemistry, right? And that's a lot of Mike McDaniel. It's a lot of guys all buying in. He's very big on team. He's very big on the structure and the infrastructure of what makes a good organization. So we saw the remnants of that when we got a chance to meet with him.
It's one of the things I love about team, Adam, when you can celebrate somebody else's success like it's your own. And I really have that sense with Mike McDaniel there, that this team celebrates each other. They celebrate each other's success, and they're truly excited when big plays like that happen.
There's Rodriguez. He's been more involved over the last month with this running game trying to get going. He picks up 3 there.
I like him. I like Rodriguez. I just feel like he tracks really well. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you're designing a run, he'll get on that track and he'll stay on that track. And sometimes, you know, that's the best thing. Don't cut back too early. Just stay on track. And if you get a nasty, dirty 4, just get us a nasty, dirty 4 and let's move on. And I think that kid is, I think he's got a chance to be really a good running back in this league.
That's your point. He sets up a 3rd down, manageable situation, 3rd and 3. Sam Howell does not like the look. So first Washington timeout. We'll step aside and come back right after these messages.
Right now on PetSmart.com, save an extra 20% off site-wide with code CYBER20, so you can make merry memories with the ones you love. PetSmart, anything for pets.
KFC 2 for $5 wraps are back.
Now with a new mac and cheese wrap.
KFC wraps are back with a new mac and cheese wrap. Choose 2 for just $5. It's
looking good. 24-7 Miami lead. Christina Pink just let us know a moment ago that Jerome Baker, no surprise after that play that Curtis Samuel made in the Brandon Jones collision, that Baker is out for the rest of the game with that knee injury. So they lost Jalen Phillips last week. They don't have Javon Holland today, and now Jerome Baker is injured. So 3 defensive starters are down for Miami. 3rd and 3 for Washington. Howell, nothing downfield, spins away. Still looking, finds Samuel. Curtis Samuel made himself available and dives towards the 45. A pickup of 25 yards. Nicely done by Sam Howell outside the pocket.
Well, on the opposite side, we talked about Jalen Waddle coming back to the quarterback when you're deep. This time we're talking about, hey, when you're running a short route, as you did with Samuel right there, adjust that route off pressure. Your quarterback's in trouble. And now take it deep, right? Take that short route, get up the sideline, give him a window to throw it to. Nice adjustment by Samuel.
Off to a good start today. 4 catches for 65 yards. Howell rifles one towards Dotson. He could not hold on in a tight window. 2nd down coming up.
Now, the problem with those incompletions on 1st down, it makes you feel like we can't run the ball on 2nd down. And I'm a big believer in 2nd down runs because normally you're facing wider boxes and deeper linebackers. So it gives you a better opportunity to run the football. They're going to throw it here.
Take advantage of tendency, right? It ends up leading to a sack. Zach Sealer, back-to-back weeks with a sack. Career high 6th on the season, and it's 3rd down and long back in midfield.
Well, a little inside game here. They're just running these inside games, making sure they create some opportunities for those guys inside. You see Sealer coming off the edge. Wilkins creates that opportunity, taking 2 guys away and letting Sealer come around that for that inside pass rush.
The Commanders have given up 3 or more sacks in all but 1 game this year. That was the home game against Philadelphia. Gibson on the screen. Duke Riley knocked it out. It's going to be down at the 44-yard line. So Riley, who's in there for the now injured Baker, making some plays.
Yeah, Riley just reading this. He feels it right here. You can see he's right here watching the running back come out of there. You see him slow play that and then just explode as soon as he sees that. And that's a drop ball right there.
Wasn't sure if they were going to rule it catch and fumble or an incompletion. Regardless, Riley right there to drill him.
Well, we've seen Riley step up in the absence of Baker. We've seen Van Ginkel step up.
Oof. Speaking of which, Van Ginkel almost got the block on that one. Out of bounds inside the 25-yard line.
Right. Jalen Phillips went down last week, and Van Ginkel comes in, steps in for him, and then here he makes almost a special teams play. Inside move off the edge, and I'm telling you what, the timing of that was just, I mean, that is, talk about a game of inches, Adam. That was inches away from a block punt. That'd have been special. That'd have been a sack, an interception for a touchdown. I mean, almost got a block punt right there.
It's been the Van Ginkel game so far in this first half. Fifth-year man out of Wisconsin. So now already a 3-score lead, 17-point advantage, and you got all these guys who have made an impact early. Tyreek Hill, chief among them. No pun intended, but we'll go with it anyway. Here's Mostert. Picks up 9, running into Cam Curl.
Man, I love that. Alec Ingold just driving people, hitting people. One thing I think that the speed of this Miami offense kind of lulls you to sleep on how physical they actually are. They're a big, strong, physical football team, and you're so worried about the speed on the outside, the receivers being able to exploit you, that you tend to forget, man. They'll run the ball right down your throat.
Here is Mostert looking for a cutback lane. Sheds a tackle and gets the first down. Looked like he got away from Daron Payne. We haven't said Payne and Allen too much, right? Miami wants to take those two big guys in the middle away.
Yeah, these two dudes right here, I mean, they are the heart and the soul of Washington's defense. You see Payne in the backfield, but just able to put that foot in the ground, slip by there, and you see getting everybody running. You see that Miami Dolphins basically taking those linebackers further than they want to go to create those cutback lanes for the running back.
Toss play, Mostert. That Armstead and Ingold trying to block. Nice job by Casey Toohill. Kind of spreading that play, spilling it out to the edge. And a play for no gain. 4:20 to play first half. So again, Miami doesn't need a whole lot of time, right? The explosive plays, it's been their nature over the course of this season and last, but especially this year.
Yeah, when you get that kind of time of possession advantage, you think, hey, man, we're going to be on the right side of the score, but Miami is such a quick strike offense that they can take that time of possession and flip it on you.
Now it's Devon Achane. He slips through. Cam Curl with the hard hit near the 43-yard line. So Achane's been hurt. Missed 5 of the last 6 games and barely played against Las Vegas. Savon Ahmed is on IR. He had a foot injury against Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. You got Jeff Wilson, who's playing in his 5th game since returning from a couple of different injuries, a rib and a finger issue. River Craycraft is back. Chase Claypool is active today. They've dealt with a lot of ups and downs, and that's not even mentioning the offensive line this year.
10 different offensive linemen have played in a game, and they've had all kinds of different combinations as well, Adam.
8 of them counting today. Tua Tagovailoa finds Tyreek Hill on 3rd down. He's been the safety blanket today. The 2 touchdowns and then that conversion.
And we talked about the windows. We talked about being an anticipatory thrower, and you're going to get it right here in this. We call that, you know, like this is the honey hole window right here. That window right there into Tyreek Hill, and like if it was Pooh Bear, you think of this as 100-acre wood, and that's the honey hole right there.
Who's Christopher Robin in this analogy that you're?
I don't know, but our producer Barry Landis was nicknamed in high school Pooh Bear.
Tua's for 6 on 3rd down. Still thinking about our producer, Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call him for the rest of the day. Got close there, Mark. Approaching the 2-minute warning here in Landover, Maryland. Don't forget that Miami is slated to receive the ball to start the second half. So these are going to be a crucial final 2 minutes of this first half if Washington and Ron Rivera's team want to stay in this game. Take it down to the 2-minute warning. It's been Andrew Van Ginkel on defense. It's been Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa on offense. And it's been a lot of Miami so far through 28 minutes. Rams a big game for Cleveland as well, trying to stay in the AFC playoff picture. It's all coming up in our America's Game of the Week on the other side of this one.
Those two teams pretty special, man.
Yeah.
Dominant line of scrimmage. They've got all kinds of skill.
Tua Tagovailoa was trying to find Jalen Waddle, and Benjamin St. Juste might get tagged for a little interference here as he basically stuck his hands into the chest of Waddle.
Yeah, well, you've got this off the ball right here, so you've got that depth, but you know you can't chuck them after 5 yards. And
defense, number 25. The ball we placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
that becomes pass interference because the ball was in the air when he got that illegal contact. So had the ball not been in the air, it had just been illegal contact, but it's the right call.
Ends up being a 16-yard spot foul. From the 18. Low penalty half so far. Now look at all the white jerseys there. Now it's Tyreek Hill playing backyard football. Chased by Martin and company. That ends up being a loss back to the 29. A loss of 11 on the play. A lot of traffic, a lot of smoke and mirrors going on here.
That's like your weekend, your turkey bowl that you got together with your college buddies.
This is Thanksgiving weekend right here. Just hoping one of your 37-year-old buddies doesn't pull a hamstring.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Washington uses a timeout after that play.
Well, I tell you, they have so many, how many unique just kind of ball handling situations have we seen today with the flips to right there Tyreek Hill or to Waddle or to some of the other guys. Achane also had one. Just a lot. I mean, so much eye candy to look at as a defense. You know, you can get yourself so mesmerized with all the motion and all the movement that you don't play your responsibility. And that time Ron's defense does a pretty good job there.
Overall, pretty decent. It's been the big plays that have just killed him, and that's been the story of Washington's defensive season. Tagovailoa out to Mostert. He's got speed, too. He was a track star in his time at Purdue. Going back to his high school days as well, he was a standout sprinter. 93 seconds to play. Washington uses another timeout. Kurt Menefee is going to tell us what's coming up at half.
All right, thanks, guys. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Show, we'll recap the first half of games around the league. Plus, we'll get you ready for the NFC Championship rematch between the Eagles and the Niners.
Hey, Kurt, you think I can get one of these 3D thingamajigs? I got the moves.
We'll see you at the half.
Yeah, Kurt, we'll see you and your friends, animated and otherwise, coming up in 93 seconds of game time. No more timeouts for Washington. Looking for a stop here. Imagine Miami, if they do get stopped, will try to take the clock as far down as possible and then kick a field goal.
Well, third down so far, Tua's been absolutely unreal on third down. I think he's 6 for 6 on third downs. Is that?
Oh, yeah. Tyreek Hill has been the big target. All 4 of Hill's catches have come on third down, including the 2 scores. Tagovailoa steps away from the pressure, gives it to Jalen Waddle, and they pick up the first down. He dives inside the 5, and Miami can run this clock as far down as they want now.
Well, pressure and dealing with pressure. Look at the avoidance of the pressure. Slide yourself in there, and then watch Waddle come right in as they drag somebody into the flat to take the coverage away. Waddle comes right behind that, creating that open window for Tua to get him the ball. Just great design.
Open windows, that's the key. Handoff, Mostert That's stood up right at that 2-yard line. Nice job by Washington defensively. Jamin Davis has been involved. Cam Curl got in there on the tackle.
I told you about the physicality of this football team. And, you know, you talk about Mike McDaniel coming from that 49er tree, from Mike Shanahan to Kyle Shanahan, the importance of a fullback. And I'm telling you, Alec Ingold is one of those guys that probably doesn't get much credit for what he does for this offense, but you want to talk about lead blocker and just absolutely thunder punching people right in the teeth. Man, this guy does a tremendous job of that.
Alec Ingold has played 70 out of a possible 78 games in his NFL career, going back to his time with the Raiders. A high school quarterback, almost ended up going to Northern Illinois as a quarterback to play, but ended up moving over to fullback when he was in Wisconsin. He was a really good high school QB in the state. And he is a, I think, you know, you think of Kyle Juszczyk in San Francisco. I think that's kind of spread. Remember C.J. Ham in Minnesota, Patrick Ricard in Baltimore. The fullback is coming in to vote for these more modernized offenses. They use the fullback in fascinating ways, including in this one. And it helps when he was a former quarterback at one point. Ingold's lined up just off the line to the right in a receiver stance. Hill in motion. Give it to Mostert. And he dives in. Touchdown, Miami. As they work the clock all the way down and tack on another tutty.
Just watch. I mean, watch the design of this as Hill comes across the formation, right? As he comes out here across the formation, watch how it gets everybody out here to jump on that. You see the width of it, and then all of a sudden you're just going to say, hey, man, go find us a play. Go bring your own blocker. Be that guy for us for Mostert to get into the end zone. But just extending Hill across that formation creates some separation where that defense can't constrict.
5 possessions, which is what you're hoping for as a defense, right? You're trying to limit them to 4 or 5 possessions a half, but they've scored on 4 of their 5 trips, and then add in the Van Ginkel pick 6. And suddenly it's 31-7. Yeah, all fist bumps and smiles right now for Miami. This is a Washington team that is in flux right now. So Mostert adds on to his NFL leading total 14 rushing touchdowns, coupled away from tying Ricky Williams' Miami record. We mentioned the scores for Miami. They go 78 to Hill on the first drive of the game. Van Ginkel, who's made a couple of huge plays in this first half in the absence of Jalen Phillips, gets the pick 6. Really good Washington drive. They got a couple of big plays on their own side of the ball and were able to punch it in with Howell. Tyreek Hill does what Tyreek Hill does. Beats Kendall Fuller for a 60-yarder. And then that last drive, they convert on 3rd and 12 to Waddle. And then Mostert is 2 away from tying Ricky Williams' 2002 Dolphin record of 16 rushing touchdowns in a season. This is only game number 12 for the Dolphins. Miami's going to get the ball back to start the second half, too.
Yeah, so many weapons, and there's so many things that you have to concern yourself with when you're playing this Dolphins team. And like we talked about many times, their explosive plays, the explosive nature, but also the physicality with which they play that doesn't get enough of the run. They really do a fine job of you know, leaning on you and wearing you out.
Washington's lined up for a play right now. 20 seconds left, no timeouts. Howell steps up, lofts it incomplete. Andrew Van Ginkel, you see 43 all over the place today.
Yeah, and so if I'm Ron Rivera and if I'm Washington right now and Eric Bieniemy, and I just want to get into the half and get myself reestablished. You've already seen Miami create sacks. I think 3 sacks on the day, an interception for a touchdown. I don't want to give them any more momentum than they already have. I'd like to get into this half, maybe run the ball, get out of here, and go make my adjustments.
You saw what happened at the end of the first half last week with Tim Boyle launching one towards the end zone. Ended up in that 99-yard pick 6. Duke Riley makes the stop. That'll stop play after 1 half. The restless Commander fans in the building kind of out louded by the Miami fans cheering for Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill and company. 31-7. Dolphins lead at the half. Kurt and the boys ready to go for the Verizon halftime report.
For the private use of our audience, any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. I need you to get up. Get up.
It's our game flow. It's brought to us by Progressive, and the Dolphins taking down the teams that they're slated to take down. They were the near double-digit road favorite, and 31 in the first half ties the most they've scored in franchise history on the road. They do it at Landover, Maryland. That's where we're at. Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, Christina Pink down on the field as well. So this is our first time getting to watch Miami offensively in person. You said it, they're as close to a Madden video game as you're going to find, and certainly all the things that you watched on film that we talked to Washington's defense about and we heard from Mike McDaniel, they all kind of came to fruition. You can understand why they're so good.
Yeah, I mean, they get to the outside, they make you run, and then they get you back in the middle. And anytime you sit with flat feet, they'll get over the top with the receiver. I mean, they are a dynamic playmaking offense, and we've seen it here firsthand so far today. And oh, by the way, that defense gets overshadowed some, but that defense can play a little bit as well.
One long scoring drive needed a couple of big plays for Washington to get into the end zone. After at one point it was 17-0 Miami, Washington came down and scored. But two more scoring drives put together by the Dolphins, including one right at the end of the first half. Van Ginkel, excellent defensively in that opening half of play.
Yeah, he's been great. He's all over the football field. And I'll tell you one thing about this roster. When you can manage injuries, we talked about it with the offensive line. Now we've seen it on the defensive side of the ball, and those next guys come up and just make plays and are part of that. It just goes to show you how well this roster has been constructed, because you lose one guy, another guy steps in, and you don't seem to miss a beat, and that's been Miami so far today.
And really impressive stuff. That's a perfect passer rating, 158.3. 215 yards, the two long touchdowns to Tyreek Hill, and you pointed out
7 for 7, right?
On third down, 7 for 7 with 4 of those grabs and both touchdowns for Hill. About as good of a first half as you could ask for Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. So Joey Sly will kick away. Braxton Berrios back to return for the Dolphins. All-Pro kick returner a couple of years ago. Had a kick return touchdown against the Jets a couple of seasons ago. Or with the Jets, I should say, against the Jaguars. And out to the 25 comes Miami. Down to the field we go, and Christina Payne.
Hey guys, well, it looks like it'll be a new left tackle for the Dolphins for the second half. Teron Armstead is currently questionable with an ankle injury, and he is still back getting looked at in the locker room. Now, talking to Mike McDaniel about Tyreek Hill getting so open in that first half, he said it's more than that. There's so many guys out there, but he's been able to beat some coverages, and Tua is finding him and building on that connection. Sam Howell has made some plays with his feet, but overall he thought his defense has done a good job. They just got to corral the quarterback.
Good stuff, KP. Thank you. This will be Mostert to start this drive. Let's go back to what Christina was updating us on. So Teron Armstead came in with a knee issue and a quad issue. He's been battling those injuries. And then the ankle issue is bothering him now. Keon Smith, who's played now in 5 consecutive games. First-year professional out of Fayetteville State, the Division II school in North Carolina. Played a career-high 21 snaps last week against the Jets. He's going to get the opportunity at left tackle here with Armstead dealing with injury.
And again, it goes just to show you the versatility and the way most of these guys have been in this offense for 2 years now. They're really comfortable playing just about any position.
Say Smith is a first-year pro, but that's only because he didn't come up with the requisite games played to qualify for a second or third year. So it's his first professional season, but he's been in this system over the last 2+ years.
And I think one of the things about this particular system, especially when you base in zone kind of run skill, it's getting on the same page, it's having that same feel. You know, hey, if I'm working with the center or guard, do I have that feel where the guard comes off, the center stays on the block, or vice versa? Same thing with the tackles and the guards. So it takes some time to get used to that, and obviously they have a great feel for their offense right now.
First down, Tyreek Hill. They needed just 2. He works them out to the 38-yard line.
You'll give that one up all day, right? Just say, as long as Tyreek Hill's running those shallow crosses and sitting down in that spot over the center, we'll give you that all day long.
Wow, you got to go back to 1971 at the beginning of the Super Bowl era for the last player in Dolphins history to have 2 60+ yard TDs through the air in a game. Paul Warfield. First down for Tagovailoa. Out of the backfield is Achane, and he somehow stayed on his feet. Khaleke Hudson missed the tackle, could not bring him down, and he adds more yardage to turn it into a 21-yard catch and run. Achane.
Well, we talked about the ability to get to the outside edge and then put somebody in conflict one-on-one with your athletes out there. See if they can tackle. That's it. Just go out here and see if you can tackle us, because that is an impossible task right there for Hudson, when you have that kind of speed and athleticism on the outside. And look at that contact balance by Achane.
Straight up the gut, it's Jeff Wilson down to the 38-yard line. Picks up a few. It's now Wilson, who played the most amount of snaps he's played this season last week against the Jets. He's going to be involved. Achane and Wilson both out there. Really, you mentioned the word versatility earlier. And this is kind of what we're talking about, right? You got all these different personnel groupings. You can line Ingold up anywhere you want to. You can line these running backs out wide. All the shades of the Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan tree. Tua with a quick strike this time as he delivers to River Craycraft, so he gets involved. He's back the last couple of games after injury. He picks up 13 there.
You know, one of the interesting things that Tua told us about is how he changes his drops based upon who he's throwing the football to. So he said, man, I've sped my drops up because I'm so used to throwing it to Waddle, and I'm used to throwing it to Hill, so my feet have to be a lot quicker. When I have a different primary target, whether it's a River Craycraft or somebody else, I slow down my steps a little bit to match those guys' speed and those guys' athleticism. Really crazy to have that conversation.
Waddle on the screen gets taken down by Fuller. So yeah, it's just another one of those things that you don't always think about. It's not your job if you're sitting at home watching this to think about the footwork and the timing and the mechanics, but it's really interesting to hear Tua, who's a very bright kid, obviously, and thinks about these things pretty deeply, and you can tell with him and McDaniel, they go over this stuff. And Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, let's give him some credit too. But to be able to adjust the timing and the speed of your mechanics to adjust to the range of speed that your targets seemingly have in this offense. Orbit motion there with Achane. Tagovailoa steps away from the pressure, and he finds Julian Hill, the rookie out of Campbell, for just his 3rd NFL catch. Tagovailoa stepped away from Barton and delivered to the rookie.
Well, Barton coming off the edge, and how about, look at that little, I mean, that's ridiculous. And then the quickness to get the ball out of your hand after you make that move and make Barton miss in the backfield. I tell you what, so impressed. And Tua is playing with such confidence right now, and I think a lot of that confidence comes from his head coach, Mike McDaniel.
Handoff, Achane bouncing off of bodies, and he's into the end zone for the score. He's been waiting a while to get that score. He had that great stretch early in the season He's been banged up since. He gets in the end zone.
You know how I know you're physical? When your receivers are willing to get down in the mess, right down in the briar patch. Cedric Wilson getting in there, and then look at the effort of the running back, Achane. But when Wilson's willing to go in there and just throw a block inside, that's when I know offensively you've got everybody bought in to what you're doing.
Remember, Dan Campbell used to be the interim head coach here in Miami, and you've heard this kind of statement from Campbell as we see the flag on the extra point. Dan Campbell has said if your corners tackle and your receivers are willing to block, that means you have a tough football team, and I'm seeing the shades of that with the toughness on both sides of the ball for Miami. That kind of gives me a sense of where they might be headed. Julian Hill with the longest catch of his career set up the first Achane score in the last couple months.
Offside, defense, number 34. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Timeout.
Is 38-7. Devon Achane nursing the knee issue. Been waiting for that score. We were waiting for Robert Hunt to dance it away. He's back in the lineup and enjoy.
By Pepsi, official soft drink of the NFL.
Tagovailoa 5 for 5 in the drive. He's completed 10 consecutive passes. Achane is into the end zone for another Miami score. Their 4th offensive touchdown of the day. Plus the pick 6 from Andrew Van Ginkel. Pringle says no, out to the 25-yard line will come Washington. Down to the field in KP. What'd you learn, KP?
Well, the hits keep coming for the Commanders. Ron Rivera told me at the half we have to run the football more. Well, that just got a lot harder because their #1 running back, Brian Robinson, has just been ruled out with a hamstring injury. But I also sense some frustration from Ron Rivera talking about his defense and those explosive plays. He said we can't get beat over the top. It happened on both plays. Then he stopped himself and said, you know what? It's water over the bridge. We just have to not get beat over the top and use our technique. First game calling the plays, and certainly a little frustration there.
Yeah, what a game to jump into, right, Christina? You go up against one of the most explosive offenses in NFL history based on yards per play. So without Robinson, Gibson and Rodriguez both step up the ladder. David Long stops Gibson after a 6-yard gain there.
Well, take pressure off your young quarterback, and that's one of the reasons, you know, you look at this Washington offense, about 68% of the time they throw the football, and for me, I just know how much pressure that puts on an offensive line, especially an offensive line that has had its struggles this year, and how much pressure that puts on a young quarterback. And so I agree with Ron Rivera. We got to run the football. We got to settle this thing down, churn out some yardage, and churn out some clock.
He's got Gibson getting loose. Nice catch by Antonio Gibson down inside the Miami 40. Really nice twisting play by Gibson, beating David Long, the linebacker.
And we talked about, you know, if you're running a short route, he's running a crossing route over the field. Turn it to a go when you see your quarterback struggle. And remember, Gibson, coming out of Memphis, was a wide receiver, so you know he's got those pass-catching skills going down the football field.
Second team all-conference in the American as a wide receiver. He played both in college, but it was at the receiver position where he received most of his accolades. Then he got invited to the Senior Bowl as a running back, so it really gives you a sense of how good he was in both spots. Now trying to show it off here as he lunges for 2 with Long all over.
Yeah, that was part of the process for him, which is really cool. You know, you come in that Senior Bowl as a running back, and early in his career, you know, learning how to run behind your pads and learning how to run between the tackles. And this kid, I'm telling you what, he's a big physical cat, man, really good athlete, but has really kind of developed in that role of, you know, running back and the ability to be a starting running back as well.
So now Rodriguez is in. Halfway through the third. Draw play for Rodriguez. Rodriguez, some multi-positional talent over the course of his lifetime in the game of football. He was a center on his offensive line in middle school until a broken arm prevented him from being able to block the way he wanted to block. So he moves to fullback. And he was a little bit bigger than a lot of the rest of the kids around that age. So they move him to fullback. Once he gets to high school in the state of Georgia, they move him to running back. And ever since then, he's been playing the position well. third all-time in Kentucky history with 3,600 plus rushing yards.
Well, they recognize his athletic ability to put him on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The great athletes in the game, as you know. Well, he's in there to block. Nicely done by Rodriguez to open it up for Sam Howell and Jahan Dotson. They convert on third down. 11-yard gain to Dotson.
Yeah, I love it too, right? Come over here, get to the edge here, help secure that edge on Chubb, and then give your quarterback an opportunity to push that ball outside the numbers to Dotson. But that's part of being a running back, and that's the things we don't necessarily recognize. You know, we see the big runs, but you've got to be able to block. You've got to be able to set people up. You've got to be able to help out and catch the ball in the backfield. Obviously, Rodriguez can do all those things.
Especially if you want to be a three-down back.
Sure.
NFL, right? Guys want to be out there for all those reps. Off the fake, Howell stepping up, climbing the pocket. He ran right into Long, kept his feet, lofted it up there into double coverage, and Terry McLaurin was leaping up high, still seeking his first catch. Deshaun Elliott, the safety, came over to bat it down, and McLaurin still shut out today.
I think he was trying to get that one out of bounds, but when you get guys on top of you, you see the pressure right here. You're going to get Long in there. There's Van Ginkel. There's the long hit off the edge right there. Is that, oh, that's Ogba right there. I think he's trying to throw that thing out of bounds. I think he's just trying to launch it up there, but obviously the pressure, he couldn't get enough on that, and good job by Scary Terry going out there and breaking it up.
McLaurin, their leading receiver, one of the great receivers in the game, but has not been able to get anything going. And again, we haven't really mentioned the names Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey outside of when we were introducing this defense, because there hasn't been a lot of opportunity to go up against them. That's what you have on the outside. Like you said, the Miami defense kind of gets overshadowed by its offense sometimes.
Yeah, when you talk to people, they'll tell you, hey, man, two best, you know, the tandem of Ramsey and Xavier Howard are really the best tandem in football on the outside. Yeah. So then it becomes the other guys. You know, then you've got to dump it off to the backs, and you've got to have Samuel run in the middle of the football field. You've got to be able to rely on those guys to take some pressure off those outside players at the receiver position.
Screen, Gibson. Nice job by Duke Riley. Did a lot of run today with the injury to Baker. And he brings up fourth down. Let's see if Washington's offense stays out there. I can't imagine that they would not stay. 4th and 3 coming.
Yeah, just watch Duke Riley right here in the middle of the football field. Watch him recognize this leak out of the backfield. Look at him just getting on his horse right there and being able to get Gibson down. But really nice job. And Riley's made a couple of plays ever since he replaced Jerome Baker. He's been out there flying around, making those plays, taking the most of this opportunity.
So Washington trying to stay out there and get some points. This is an interesting play for a lot of folks. Howell escaping, Howell running, Howell with another rushing touchdown. And a lot of folks are smiling for various reasons as Howell gets into the end zone.
Let's talk about pocket awareness and just to feel, you know, you're in trouble, because watch my man Bradley Chubb come off the edge. Watch him dip underneath Bradley right there, dip away from it, and then it's just run for your life, right? Because these guys are flying around, and Sam Howell being able to have that sense, that feel in the pocket, and then once he breaks out of that pocket, that nose for the end zone. Really nice play by the youngster.
Now 4 rushing TDs in the last 3 games for Howell. They'll go for 2 here. Drills back in the end zone. Nice throw. Good catch by Logan Thomas. And as we said, an impactful touchdown for those of you watching around the country. 38-15 the score.
The mark of a fighter.
So Washington comes down and scores. So now Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami offense get the ball back. Sam Howell, nice drive. Nice run at the end there. Second rushing touchdown of the day. Tyreek Hill, a couple of touchdowns for Miami, who has scored on each of its last 3 drives with a touchdown. So we've kind of told you the story of the Miami offense, as most of the NFL fan base has come to understand it. Here's the Washington defensive story this year. Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator, last in points. They're the bottom 5 in yards per game allowed this season. They have not generated a lot of takeaways at all. No picks in the last 6 games, no takeaways in the last 3 games. And it's kind of been a roller coaster. I think they were really good last year with a lot of the same guys. Now, I know Sweat and Young are gone, but they were here for a good chunk of the first half of the season. So it's just odd to see the up and down nature. There's Achane with the touchdown on the last drive. Good run on first down. Banging through Percy Butler and company for a gain of 7. So what do you attest to that? It's so strange.
Yeah, it really is, you know, and when you're tied together and you have great communication and you play fast, I'll tell you what, you can play great defense, but when you look at them, it's just been the breakdowns. It's been the big plays over the top, getting beat in those situations. You know, we saw them have 8 or 9 sacks against the Giants, but gave up 6 or 7 big plays and a couple of big scoring plays. So it's one of those inconsistencies, lack of communication, and then sometimes when you get into those situations, you try to do too much as a defense.
Achane with Smith pulling around for the block. A lot of flags come flying in. 2 of them, in fact. Kendall Fuller made the tackle on Achane, but we'll check these markers. Got a holding call initially against Miami.
Yeah, I think you're going to get
holding. Offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's Julian Hill who had that career best catch on the last drive, which helped set up the touchdown.
Get out there on the edge a little bit, get your hands outside, and those are things that happen. Do you see Embry, John Embry right there, tight ends coach, saying, hey, man, we got to do it like I used to do it back at CU.
The old buff. Julian Hill's a fun story, too. A high school quarterback who tore his ACL a couple times, didn't even play his senior year, but came back for the hoop season. And while he was playing basketball as a senior, he got noticed by a coach at Campbell. Campbell was a school down in North Carolina. He ended up walking onto the football team and moving to tight end. And a few years later, here he is as an undrafted free agent in the NFL. Pretty cool story for Chris Greer, the GM, who comes up with the fine. Tagovailoa, again, does a nice job of just escaping the pressure. Incomplete for Achane, who had Davis, the linebacker, on. KJ Henry is trying to bring Tua down. You said it earlier today, the key for teams, the teams that have beaten Miami this year, Buffalo, Philly, Kansas City, they get to Tua early, and then you affect that initial throwing lane, that throwing window that we've talked so much about today.
Yeah, make him pull that ball so he can't throw it in that initial window, but when you get to him right there and you see the pocket awareness and his ability to make people miss in the pocket, you've got to take advantage. Once you've stopped that initial throw, then it's about getting him down. It's about wrapping him up, and boy, Washington's had a tough time doing that today because he's been exceptional avoiding pressure in the pocket today.
Long coming up here. Tagovailoa bandaged up on that right arm. Got a chunk of his arm taken out last week in that game against the Jets on Black Friday. Looking for Hill, leaping up top, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. Percy Butler had the coverage on Tyreek Hill, and plenty to talk about on the sideline there. First incompletion on 3rd down for Tua today.
Yeah, and they're just throwing this against the zone, and boy, you have to have some arm talent to get this out all the way across the football field between that rolled up corner and the safety, as you see Butler coming over the top there, and you still almost came away with that.
Jake Bailey boots it away. Ends up being a 47-yarder, and Jamison Crowder takes it past the 40-yard line. Inside of 3 for quarter number 3. Hill and company still in command.
Fox.
Well, that's just awesome for the Washington franchise in its 92nd year in the NFL. Dolphins in their 54th year in the National Football League. 2 of the all-time greats in the history of these 2 franchises, Dan Marino and Doug Williams.
Doug Williams was my starting quarterback as a rookie in Washington. Adam, and going to play my first game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm scared to death. Doug Williams walks on the bus and says, Hey, man, the only difference between you and them is they've had a chance to make a name for themselves, and today is your chance.
Pretty awesome.
And he said, you're going to be awesome. Ended up getting a game ball.
That's so cool.
I mean, I tell you what, I remember it like it was yesterday. So thankful to have played with Doug Williams, because he is one of the class people that you will ever meet.
You just saw the great interaction between he and Dan Marino. I had a chance to be around Dan and Doug a couple times. I was covering Doug when he was over at Grambling State as the head coach, and his son was playing quarterback for him while he was the head coach. It was great stuff. Great to run into both of those guys over the course of the years. Antonio Gibson, a couple of runs. Bradley Chubb on the stop here. Third down coming up for Washington. 2 minutes to play in the third. Washington still seeking its first playoff win since 2005, and obviously this is not going to go in much of a way to help their playoff cause. They needed a very strong finish in what's a jumbled playoff run in the NFC. Meanwhile, Miami, they're still seeking their first playoff win since 2000. They won a wild card game in Indianapolis in overtime. They've got the longest active drought in the AFC since, trying to get their first AFC East title since 2008, and a really good opportunity to finish off this win today and inch closer to that. Nice run here by Chris Rodriguez, rookie out of Kentucky. That's the second longest run of his career, 15 yards.
I love the combination right here on the right side as you get this blitzer coming in here, and you're going to work off of that. You see Sam Cosmi right there doing a great job getting off of that, and then Rodriguez just popping it up the middle. But when you run those combination blocks and you get a blitzer into those things, it creates nice giant cutback lanes for an offense, and Rodriguez taking advantage of that.
Fake to Rodriguez. Howell maneuvering up and downfield, and smartly will throw it away, avoiding the team sack. Be second down. Deshaun Hand brought the pressure that time. Hand had a sack last week against the Jets. It was his first since his rookie year in 2018. So a guy who is in his 6th year out of Alabama. He's kind of been ignored over the last couple of years. A decent draft pick, his 4th round pick in 2018 by Detroit. Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio going out and trying to find pieces to build depth. And I think these last couple of weeks have been a good example of that.
I think the thing I like about it, all their guys that they get have that style or that same kind of sense, whether it's D linemen or linebackers, they can run. D linemen will defend the run. Kind of you get the same type of player, same type of body type, and then you can rotate those guys through and have similar outcomes, obviously.
Gibson a little slow to get up after that play in the pile. We're talking about the similar style of all these defensive linemen, right? They all kind of play similarly, spilling everything out to the edge.
Yeah, here they are off the edge right here. You see Hand create that edge. You see everybody. Look at it. Just forcing long up there, forcing the edge to turn back inside to where Hand and the rest of those players are. And it's really nice team defense right there.
Well, a good team effort for Miami so far today, trying to move to 9-3 for the first time in over 2 decades. So you've seen these then and now, how it started, how's it going? For all these guys who have been in Washington, right? Kyle Shanahan, now the coach in San Francisco. You'll see him today. McVay in Los Angeles, LaFleur in Green Bay, and of course Mike McDaniel. These guys were on the same staff together under Mike Shanahan for a few years here in Washington. A lot of those guys have kind of spread out. You see the off-whites once again for Mike McDaniel, who has really churned out a personality and an identity of his own coming off that Shanahan tree, as a lot of those guys have.
He's also my ball boy when I played in Denver.
Crazy?
Right there.
That's wild to think.
Is that crazy?
He was a teenager when he was a ball boy. And his first season, you guys won the Super Bowl. And then his second year, you guys won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you're welcome, Mike McDaniel.
Catch me here by Colt Cerner. Well, 4th down coming up. Down to Christina for a little bit more.
Talk about the personality. Nobody knows that better than Raheem Mostert, who played for him in San Francisco as well. He told me, I call him Miami Mike because he certainly bought into Miami. He said he has grown into this head coaching role. The guys love him, but he said he has so many sayings. I can't even keep up with them, but Miami Mike styling on the sideline.
Pretty good stylistic philosophy and a pretty philosophical dude. Joey Sly's got the big leg. Does he have the accuracy here? He does not. From 53. And it remains 38-15 in favor of Miami.
Boy, tough snap right there. That's where it starts.
First miss at 9 tries for Sly. Welcome to Landover, Maryland. Hopefully mom's smiling somewhere.
Wondering why mom's not at the game.
Yeah.
You left her at home.
Maybe she thought you guys were going somewhere else. You didn't tell me you guys were going to the game. There's the flip to Achane to start this drive, and the speed of Devon Achane takes him out to midfield. Percy Butler on the stop. A couple of offensive line changes. They brought Lester Cotton in on the last drive. He was dealing with an illness, but he's into the game. Robert Hunt just came back from the knee issue last week and got the start today, so he might be done for the rest of the day to save him.
Hope he didn't hurt himself dancing in the end zone because he had a great dance going on.
The impressive maneuvering by the 6'6", 330-pounder. Both Mostert and Achane are in. Waddle's still in the game. Cedric Wilson's the other receiver. Tua fakes it, Tua throws it, and effort there by Julian Hill. His second catch of the day. First down to Christina Pink. What you got, KP?
Yeah, you guys noted some of the changes to the Dolphins offensive line, but for Robert Hunt, he is dealing with a hamstring injury right now. The team says he's questionable to return.
Oh, so new issue up front. Again, this has kind of been a theme too for Miami. The Dolphins just had their bye week a couple of weeks ago. They've won 2 in a row since and en route to a third, but the schedule is not particularly easy for Miami to try to secure that AFC East title. That being said, a win today and that game against Buffalo to close the season are probably going to go a really long way to potentially winning their first AFC East title in 14 years. They're doing it with both sides of the ball. Obviously, the defense we've talked about has been overshadowed, but this is how exceptional the offense has been. You think about the greatest show on turf, right? The 2000 St. Louis Rams, arguably one of the best offenses you've ever seen. It was like Arena League football. It was like a video game, and this is the closest thing to it. By the way, Tyreek Hill on both of those offenses.
Yeah, incredible. And I tell you, you look at them, what they're doing right now. I mean, you see kind of the changing of the guard right now here in the fourth quarter. We've got a big league. Let's rest some of our guys, get some other guys some opportunities in here. Make sure we stay healthy, which is just smart management by Mike McDaniel. And speaking of Mike McDaniel, smart management, we talked to Tua yesterday, and he talked about that tape that he put together on Tua, his ability to throw the outs, and basically, you know, felt like going into last year he had lost some of his confidence and saying, man, I want to show you what you are. And it's amazing what can happen to you in any walk of life when somebody believes in you.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mike McDaniel just believed in Tua, and you see the fruit of that belief showing up here on Sundays because he's been exceptional.
Nice play there by Jamin Davis. He's had a nice game ever since that first play where he got beat by Achane in coverage. Ever since then, he's done pretty well.
He really has, and man, I'm telling you what, that is dirty duty right there.
Trying to guard Jalen Waddle.
Right, and what a great job of, you know, being able to stay on the outside leverage and then cut underneath Jalen Waddle there. And man, he can run. He's a 4-4 guy, but I'm telling you what, that's a tough assignment when you go one-on-one with Waddle.
Jamin Davis is a pretty fast guy too. They called him Shadow back in the day. His track and field partner was Sonic. That's from the video game for those of you 90s kids out there. Catch made it down by Elijah Campbell on the punt. 35-yarder, perfectly placed. Pins Washington deep. Let's see what Sam Howell's got. Try to make this interesting late. Coach of Washington and obviously calling the defensive plays. Today you see him on the sideline with Khalid Hudson, coaching him up. doing the teaching points. He kind of gave us a little bit of clinic talk yesterday, too, about some of the mechanical things he wants to see from some of his defenders having to go up against this speedy Miami offense today. And there's no doubting Ron's intelligence about football and certainly his prowess on the defensive end, but this is a brutal spot to try to come into and call plays. Defense giving up 31 of those 38 points today. And Andrew Van Ginkel has the other points from Miami, already a pick 6. He gets the knockdown there. He's had a great game today, Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's up there on the top of your screen. And, I mean, of course, when nobody blocks you, you should have a play or two. But that's part of that is just design, right? You see Riley come in there and basically take the block of Wiley, the outside, Andrew Wiley, the right tackle, so that you can get Van Ginkel in there on a free rusher, so to speak. So that's designed by Vic Fangio in this Miami defense.
Gibson sheds one tackle. Nice maneuvering by Antonio Gibson to set up a 3rd down and short. Bradley Chubb missed him in the backfield. Fun to watch. Gibson a little whirling dervish here by the 4th-year man out of Memphis.
Boy, how about that? Breaking tackles.
Yeah.
Broke about 3 tackles there. You see Bradley Chubb in the backfield and then just fighting through there. Gibson, we talked about how he's matured as a running back coming out of Memphis as a wide receiver and how he's used that physicality to learn how to run behind his pads. You see the contact balance. He's one of those guys that really has done a good job transitioning from one position to another.
Rodriguez, nothing there.
Guess who?
Long and Van Ginkel right there. Stuffed him on 3rd and short.
Well, Van Ginkel, he's going to go in. We're going to get here. We're going to come here. I mean, this is just tied together as a defense. You see it right there? Everybody tied together, staying in their spots, pinching in, scraping out. It's beautifully done.
When we say the term run fits, this is kind of what you're talking about, right? Like, you have to fill this gap to take away this offensive lineman, which should open up that lane for the guy playing behind you.
Right, and that guy has got to be so tight on his landmark, and that's one of the things they do exceptionally well on tape, making sure they never get out of their gap.
There's Berrios out to the 40-yard line. Coverage there from Terrell Burgess. Not just the offense. This Miami defense for the last month has been playing really well. Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, Christina Pink, our fabulous crew with Barry Landis, Mitch Riggin, Joe Williams, Alabama grad Jonathan Biles, whose team snuck into the playoff today. Mike White is in for the 4th time, all in blowouts, including last week. Had 1 snap at the Jets. And Tua Tagovailoa, passer rating perfection is 158.3. He was at 141 today. Didn't even have to hurl it through the air too often. HN on the run. Past the 45. And Carissa Thompson's got a game break for us. CT, my friend.
I do, Adam. Lions were up 6. Decided to go with a little trickery here. Jamison Williams ends up with it, turns on the speed and flies into the end zone for the score. Missed the 2-point conversion, but still lead this one by 12. Adam?
Saints crawled back into that game after Detroit got off to a hot start, but man, more explosive plays. Jamison Williams, every time he shows up and touches the ball, it seems like it's a 25-yard plus touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about 2 teams, Detroit and obviously Miami, that can create on explosive plays. They're amazing.
2 most explosive offenses based on 20-yard plays. First down here for Miami. So one of the big things for Tua as he finishes his day, Miami has the shortest average pocket time in the NFL. They get the ball out so fast. About 2-1-5, 2-1 is elite, and they're elite.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You watch it here, and even sliding there, 2-2-3, getting it up over the top. Great protection, great pickup on the blitz. And, you know, what we always used to talk about, even if you get beat clean up front, it takes a defensive lineman on a 5-step drop about 1.7 seconds to get to the quarterback. So if you just impede that progress a little bit and you're getting that ball out in 2.1, 2.2, sorry, you're just not going to get to the quarterback in those situations.
And I'm thinking about Detroit. Again, we were just talking about the Lions. Carissa gave us that update. Another offense that, outside of their deep balls, which everybody kind of needs a few seconds for, they get the ball out really fast. And that's a staple of the Shanahan tree, too, when you have explosive receivers and backs. L.A., the McVay offense right now with Matthew Stafford, they get the ball out about as quick as any team in the league. That's what Miami does.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Miami right now, they're working on this part of their offense. And this is important, that 4-minute offense, starting that here on this drive. And you see them in multiple tight ends using both Connor Tanner and Julian Hill on the edge. And the thing that you don't realize about Miami, because they're so explosive from a passing standpoint, is how physical they can play up front, and they're about ready to put that on demonstration right now. Backup quarterback, multiple tight ends. Let's go see if we can just end this thing.
It is Achane, first down, slips through down inside the 25-yard line. Got big plays against this Washington defense.
Yeah, but I just want to watch right here. Watch these guys just develop a brand new line of scrimmage coming off the ball. And you see how they just drive. You've got Jackson, you've got Cotton, Williams. I mean, the whole 9 yards. They're all over the place, just driving that, creating that new line of scrimmage, and let that back get to the second level before he gets touched.
In this case, the whole 15 yards for the run for Achane. Right back to him. Space. Nice job by Fuller out there. And again, this is going to be an evaluation process for Washington too going forward. Josh Harris, who's still there's a lot of excitement about the ownership group.
Sure.
And Jack Del Rio's gone, the defensive coordinator. Josh Harris said that at the end of the year they'll reevaluate Ron Rivera. They got the bye week coming up next week, and then they'll see at the end of the season kind of what the state of the state is, so to speak. They're going to have plenty of money, a big ownership group, a lot of capital coming in, so they'll have some opportunities to go out and get free agents. They might have an opportunity to bring in a new head coach potentially. Like I said, it could be Rivera, it could be somebody else. It's leaning towards somebody else, you would think, right now, but this is still going to be, I feel like, a decent destination for somebody to come in or for Rivera to stay in, and for free agents to try to come in here and try to make some kind of push to get back to relevance.
I've said this many times. When you're talking about the nation's capital and you're talking about Washington, this is a jewel in the crown of the NFL, and they're just waiting for this organization to rise back to prominence. And eventually it'll happen, but you've got some good building block pieces, and I like the young quarterback. I think you need to get some pressure off of him, but I like what he's done so far this year.
You saw Eric Bieniemy in that shot. Will there be some consideration for Bieniemy as well? The one thing with Howell is he's only in his second season, essentially. This is only the first full year of him as the quarterback. It's only his second year in the NFL, so you still have a couple more years of a low-priced quarterback. That you see so many organizations have to, kind of cut at other various spots of their organization because you have to pay the quarterback. You're still in a good position if you're Washington, if Howell is the guy for you going forward. I think the offensive line's going to need some work, certainly. But they've got Terry McLaurin, they've got good running backs. There's some bones here in Washington. You have Allen and Payne, arguably one of the best interior defensive duos in the league. So there's still some bones here, I think, in Washington.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, outside the numbers, your receiving core is as good as it gets.
Sure, Dotson's a young guy as well.
Dotson's a player.
Curtis Samuel,
a player. Curtis Samuel, a player. I just think you really got to control that line of scrimmage first. Get that offensive line put together. Be a little bit more balanced between run and pass, and then you've got the building blocks, though, of creating a team that can be very competitive in the NFC East.
10th play of the drive, 10th run of the drive, and it's Jeff Wilson brought down by Khalif Hudson, who saw getting coached up there on the sideline during the last break. Washington started 2-0. They're going to drop their 9th game in the last 11. The Carolinas had a worse record during that stretch. They, of course, fired their head coach after last week, Frank Reich. Mike White hands it off for Achane, and it'll be third down goal coming up. And then here are the Dolphins. They're going to get to 9-3. They're going to guarantee themselves a second straight winning season under Mike McDaniel. And again, they want to avoid the December slump from a season ago. It's not going to be easy by any means. Some tough games down the stretch. But boy, this win, you get to 9, and you've already lost 1 to Buffalo, but you have an opportunity to split with them. And if you get another win against the Jets, that helps your divisional record for a tiebreak. Like, there's a lot of good stuff here for this team to win the division for the first time in a while. Third and goal. A little trickery here as they give it to River Craig. Percy Butler was there to help stack them up, trying to get some of the other guys involved, and it'll be 4th down and goal for the Dolphins.
Well, you talked about, you know, here's River Craycraft coming around there on the little pitch out, and Washington just with Butler and Curl right there getting a stop. But you just talk about Mike McDaniel using last year and those 5 losses toward the end of the season as kind of a reminder. We don't want to go through this again at this end of the season like we did last year. It's really been kind of a rallying cry for the Miami Dolphins and McDaniel.
As KP told us, he opened the week talking about last December and trying to make it a better December, a perhaps December to remember. That was terrible, I know. To the Miami Dolphins, the 14-year veteran Jason Pierre-Paul, who Commander fans out there going, oh please don't put him on the field. The guy who's got 12.5 sacks against him lifetime. 4th and goal, chance to add 1 more exclamation point. Toss play, Achane, another one. Welcome back to the lineup for Devon Achane. And Miami with a punctuation on a dominant performance in the DMV.
Well, what do we always talk about? All the motion, all the shifts, how physical they've been, and then the speed to get it out to the edge and put your guy in a one-on-one position out there. You see the little step inside, the jab, just to hold the pursuit and then get to the edge with that speed. And tell you what, it's just their athleticism alone. It just is a really tough offense to defend.
45 on the board for Miami today, a 30-point lead. See Tua Tagovailoa, obviously one of the fun portions of this season is who gets hard knocks, right? Who gets to be on TV with the inside scoop. These Dolphins are out there. Tua Tagovailoa, the subject for one of these scenes earlier this week.
Pretty soon I'm going to go grab AirPods and put one side in and start listening to Christmas music on my own, because you guys don't. Silver bells?
I want Michael Bublé serenading me during music.
There you go. Michael Bublé is a beast. I love Michael Bublé.
He's the OG.
Well, some nice Christmas deliveries today. Maybe Michael Bublé would sing about these. By the way, I think that's the first time anybody has ever said Michael Bublé is a beast in a sentence, and that's pretty solid. But Tua, just as solid. Tyreek Hill at the receiving end of a couple of long ones today. All part of a 38-point offensive effort, 45 on the board for Miami.
Boy, he's been special, hasn't he? What a great, great day he had today throwing the football, and big plays all over the place on this offense. And tell you what, you can listen to as much Christmas music as you want when you play the game the way they played the game today.
Out to the 25, Washington. We've got a big one coming up in just a few minutes. Carissa Thompson's going to tell you about it.
Yes, I am. Michael Bublé is a beast, and so is Brock Purdy, who has had this one circled after being knocked out of last year's NFC Championship game. San Francisco looking to extend their 3-game win streak, but Jalen Hurts, 17-1 in his last 18 at home. We'll have something to say about that. It's America's Game of the Week. It's coming up next. Adam.
Sounds good, CT. We see Jacoby Brissett, backup quarterback, is in. And there was an opportunity to maybe trade Brissett. There are a lot of teams out there that were looking for starting quarterbacks. Jacoby's as good as you're going to get as a backup in this league with a lot of starting experience. He's out there for the first time this year. Chris Rodriguez will get the carry with a minute 50 to play. Logan Thomas, former quarterback in his own right in the NFL. And encouraged Sam Howell, who had a couple of rushing touchdowns. Another pick, though, for Sam. That led to the pick 6 for Van Ginkel today.
Well, obviously we've talked about Miami and their ability to really dominate as a defense, and they've done that ever since week 8, only giving up 16 points a game. Here you go, under 16 at 15 today.
And again, Kansas City's the big one in there. I know it hasn't been juggernaut offenses. Jets and the Raiders are in there, New England, but Ramsey came back. They got better defensively. Ramsey was here today, a part of a good defensive performance. Buys coming up, a lot of reevaluation and self-scout for this Washington team because they got the Rams, Jets, and close with the Niners and the Cowboys. And then we'll see what the state of the Washington Commanders is going to be in about a month plus. I mentioned the defense for Miami. Terry McLaurin, 4 targets, no catches today. It would only be the second time in his career in 76 NFL games in the regular season that McLaurin did not have a grab. It's just so tough against this excellent duo on the outside of Howard and Ramsey.
Right. Well, we talked about, this defense since week 8. That's exactly. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Getting out there, but how good this defense has been since his return in week 8. And obviously, he's got a big part of that. Also, this defense just playing together a little bit, but nice embrace there between the 2 head coaches.
Back where it all started, seemingly, for Mike McDaniel. Spent 3 years on staff in Washington. He returns as a head coach, and his Dolphins are 9-3 for the first time in 23 years. State Farm Game Break is next.